Alright, folks, in this week's entertainment roundup, I'm just going to be sticking with just one story here. I am going to talk briefly about the Kevin Hart situation, but I really want to talk about this one story because this has actually picked up airways on YouTube. It really did start with Twitter, but it is the social media network that we're dealing with, and how this new wave of communication can be benefit for a lot of people. Excuse me, my throat. But it's also could be a detriment and can bring out a witch hunt that is unnecessary and can actually lead to some very dire consequences. I will talk about that and briefly in terms of the Zoe Quinn and a video game developer who have recently took his life, and how all of the blame seems to go straight directly towards Zoe Quinn, as well as what they call cancel culture. So I'm going to be talking about this pretty much more on this. And this is it does involve entertainment more so than anything else, because again, it is in the entertainment industry. Video games are a source of entertainment, as well as the person who honestly I have never really gave much attention to. I never talked about her in any of my videos. I've paid attention to it only just recently because I didn't I wanted to know more about Watergate and why this was such a big deal, because during the years, I'm going to be honest with you, I did not know this was a thing. Alright, then again, I'm not a full-fledged gamer. I play games, but I don't play it excessively as most people do, especially those who actually make a living doing let's plays, as well as basically being a journal reporting and reviewing games. Yes, I do video game music reviews, but it's a far difference because I'm actually talking about music as nostalgia, as a hobby, not as a business. So I want to be very clear on that right off the gate, that that this is the reason why I really haven't been paying attention to the Gamergate as much as I should. But before I get down to that, I just want to give a quick mention. Thank goodness for Kevin Hart. As you guys probably heard, he has gotten into a car accident. His wife basically updated us saying that he's going to be just fine. But judging from the pictures that I've seen, he is very lucky to be alive. The last time I heard something very horrific involving an actor, especially a comedian, was Tracy Morgan. He had a life-threatening injury where it was even questioned if he would even walk again. Luckily, he survived. Thankfully, he is picking up the pieces. He's actually done a couple of comedic stand-ups in New York. But as far as his film concerned, I don't know if he's able to get that back on track or not. But nevertheless, that car accident or a bus crash with his entourage was very serious. I believe someone died. He ended up suing because of what has happened. In this article, according to CNN Entertainment, the comedian Kevin Hart with two others were involved in a crash, a car crash in Calabas, California, early Sunday, according to California Highway Patrol. Incident reported obtained by the CNN. Hart and the driver Jared Black sustained major back injuries and were transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. In a report statement, the Black was driving Hart 1970 Paramount car, according to the report, and when he lost control of the vehicle, it went off the road and rolled down an embankment. The two and three other occupants were trapped in the vehicle. Hart left the scene to his nearby residence to get medical attention, and report stated. Patrol officers determined that Black was not under the influence of alcohol at the time, and the collision. The third occupant did not suffer any substantial injuries. The article also says that the CNN had contained a representative for Hart for a comment. Hart's wife, I believe Enclo Parrish, told TMZ in a video interview on Monday that his husband was going to be just fine. Hart brought the Paramount back in July as a 40th birthday gift to himself. The car is right here. It looks beautiful. It looks nice. But again, that's besides the point. He's very lucky to have escaped that. how serious is his back injury? They're not really saying, but when you say serious back injuries, I'm only assuming that his he had a ruptured disc, messed up vertebrae, and it could be anything. But if he's going to make a full recovery, um, God was on your side, pal. That's all I gotta say. It was a very big scare. I know a lot of the actors and actresses were tuning in on what was going on. He has basically starred in a hit movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he actually has spoken on. So thank goodness that he's going to be okay. Thank goodness he's going to pull through. And just man, just be careful, man. Just be very, very careful. I always get a little bit concern, and this is something that has bothered me a while, when somebody else is driving these actors around, because it seems to be when these crashes happen, it's always not the actor who's been driving, but his friends who are driving. That is something I always find that kind of odd and coincidental. Of course, you have the incident with the Fast and the Furious star, who friend, not him, was driving sporadically and crashed, which cost the lives of both of them. You had this driver with Tracy Morgan, and then you have this situation. Now, according to the police report you just heard, um, there was he wasn't on the influence, thank goodness. So this could just be a just an accident that occurred, probably something that bumped in the road. They lost control of the wheel. It can happen, but it always concerns me when other people are driving. It makes me worried whether or not it's a good idea to just drive yourself. I'm just saying. I know that they have the money to do so. Sometimes their friends, they trust their friends in this situation, but it's always, it does bring up a question of why is how come when it comes to these crashes like these lately, it's not really the actors or the actors who are driving, but someone who's driving them. I'm just it is kind of concerning when it comes to that, especially with sports cars. And this is a beautiful car here. And I do have a picture of it. It's a nice, beautiful car. This is no question a sports car. Again, that's also a coincidence. Even though Tracy Morgan was in a tour van, it does raise the question a lot when it comes to these when it comes to some of these drivers driving these stars around. But nevertheless, thank goodness Kevin Hart is okay. I'm glad he's fine. Good kudos to his wife to actually update on his health. And we just hope that we see a speedy recovery, and hopefully this won't hinder his career going down the road. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go right straight to cancel culture and my feeling towards it. Um, my um, my feeling is very simple, as much as anybody else here, and this involves not just this story, but a lot of other stories that came to light, especially with Hollywood and just business in general, of how they see a tweet, um, they get panicky, they want to be politically correct, and pretty much will fire someone over these tweets, whether it's 6 years ago or this 3 weeks ago. It's hardly any. It doesn't even matter anymore. In the case of this story, for what I understand, the name of the guy escapes me. Zoe Quinn have tweeted something, an allegation that is very serious. Let's be realistic here. These are very serious allegations. It is a very, very damning um, allegations that raise questions: did he or did he not do it? As a result of her tweeting about this person has lost his job or any future project he have in the gaming world, all for a tweet. Now, people like the Quarterly have reported to this, and he wasn't very happy about it. I didn't watch it. This is how I found out about it, because again, I don't follow Zoe Quinn. I have no reason to follow Zoe Quinn. I've seen videos about Zoe Quinn, and none of them are never really good. But again, it's not the point. I just don't follow her. There's no reason to advertise her, no reason to talk about her, especially if I don't know much about her. For what I understand, she had a very, very strong role in Gamergate, something where honestly I didn't even know existed. I did not knew there was a big issue within the gaming community. I didn't even know this actually spread out to Channel Awesome and actually caused a rift between gamers and reviewers. One in particular was Chad Apocalypse. They had their own crew at the one time, and they basically there was basically a rift um, between them as well as some of the people in Channel Awesome. Uh, Many people just have to feel that do has something to do with the relationship between Lindsay Ellis and the person she was involved with. I'm not gonna get into that situation because I don't know. But again, it was just so crazy. But the funny thing about it is that I never paid any attention to it. When I was watching my reviewers or anything on YouTube, nothing of this came up until way later. And even with that being said, when I actually got in more invested in finding out what the hell this Gamergate is all about and why this had to do with games in general, I got two different sides of the story. It was all mixed. Nothing really was a clear point. Nothing really stood out as this is the facts. Even today, I still haven't gotten a full factual picture of what actually went down that led to Gamergate. I got different stories, but I never got a full, actual, factual report on it. Everybody has their own take about that, and to me, if I can't give my own opinion on something based on someone else's take that may or may not be true, because the media even had no idea how this got started. The media reported on it in some cases, but the resources that they were saying where they got this from was simply unreliable. So I left it alone. I just said, okay, this must be some beef between something that happened. Maybe it's in a convention or something. And it really is not something worth talking about because, again, it's the he say, she said thing. And we really don't know anymore about it. Well, Zoe Quinn, for understanding and what I understand more now, have gotten very popular of this. And she started a very strong, if not very unhealthy movement. And I'll get to that in a minute. And to the point where she was becoming the voice of the gaming community in terms of equal rights towards women and pretty much for all. But it was just a very strange movement. It was a feminist movement. I don't care about feminism. Not that I think they're wrong. It's fine. But the way she went out, every time I heard stuff about it, it was just negative. The situation with a GoFundMe, I think she wanted to do a video game and never got into the ground, to the point where she was doing a video special which was not of high quality, and people felt they were being ripped off of money not being accounted for. Just recently, she was manipulating and bullying the gaming industry, and point that she actually got into the gaming industry to do some projects. How that went down, I don't know. For what I understand, not very good. To the point where it was even announced that her company that she had built is going bankrupt and going broke. So there was a whole lot of stuff there, a whole lot of negativity and animosity towards her. And many people, including her fans, it was continuing to be a back and forth between those who hate her and those who don't like her, those who are attacking other developers for even mentioning her name. It was not very a good, healthy thing. And my initial feeling at the time is that, okay, well, whoever this person is, she seems to have a fan, so be it. But I just didn't care neither here or there. She's irrelevant to me because no matter what she says, the gaming industry is going to be the gaming industry. I think the gaming industry itself, especially today's climate, has a lot more things to be concerned about than what Zoe Quinn had to say about how they choose to represent their games, whether good or bad. All right, and that's just my feeling. It's not just Zoe. It's a lot of other people. Zombie Dragon is another one that I have been, pretty much heard about, knew some of the stuff about it, but I didn't choose not to talk about it because, again, it is a waste of my time to do that. This here is different because Zoe Quinn's name came up, and as a result of what she said on Twitter, a person have lost their jobs. No less than 2 days later, there was another report came out that the same person who lost his job, any kind of production in the gaming world, basically being called so many harsh names without any proof of the accusation being true or not, have committed suicide. And once I saw that, it was reported by a lot of people, including the correlates as well, I knew that this was going to be a problem. Now we have an issue because a person died based on allegations that may or may not be true, not by news reporters, not by the police department, but by a person who really don't have law authority at all on Twitter. And what made it even more disturbing and more, and which really angered me, is that the person did this. Yet, the moment that that it was announced that the person who she has basically accused on Twitter, basically erased all Twitter accounts mentioning this stuff. And to me that means a huge red flag. And to me, anyone, I don't care if you even will stick up for Zoe Quinn, has to start being concerned and angry at the same time, because if this turns out to be nothing more than a slandering campaign, I'm gonna say this off the bat: she may not be 100% responsible, because in my opinion, she, along with a lot of other people, have to share the brunt of this. They have to, because it wasn't just her, but she started the wheel that kept this going. Keep in mind, for what I understand, this person was getting his life together. He was actually doing a project. He seems happy, and here comes this person basically throwing his name to the mud. And by the way, some of her fans are still throwing his name to the mud without any kind of proof whatsoever. And I'm sorry, that's just wrong. Okay? And I asked the same question that Jared asked. If this was true, if the allegations were true, why go online with this information? Why not go to a proper authority? Why is it all of a sudden it's okay to go online and slander somebody's name online and say you got all this stuff online, but never show the proof online? Just go by what the person says and go on their word online, and not think it's going to be any consequences behind that, because this is the consequences. Call it cancel culture. I call it a witch hunt. No other better way to put it. And for a person who claimed all this stuff happened, why would you delete your account? Because he's gone, or because you're trying to cover your tracks pending of a lawsuit? Which, by the way, and this is something I don't think people realize, slandering is a law, is a criminal offense in some cases. Slandering, you can sue the person for that. In fact, there's a case involving a former member of, I believe, Screen Junkies. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Screen Junkies, somebody was accusing them of something. They said they had all these proof. I'll show it to you. This guy's in court, and the so-called proof that he did what he said he did still haven't showed up in court. They're trying to delay or stretch it out where he cannot longer pay for his court trial, and that's why there's a fund that's going on right now to keep the case going, because they know, because even they know that what they're trying to do. Now imagine if that evidence didn't exist. You just got this guy fired from a company for nothing. And again, this go out for revenge, make these allegations, make vengeful comments, it gotta stop. If Zoe Quinn may have lied on this situation, she needs to be held accountable for it. There's no other way to put it. There is no other way to put it. A man's life was gone. And for all you Twitters out there who want to say, oh, well, you know, he's a rapist, so what difference does it make? Should we really feel sorry for you? How dare you? How dare you? Okay? How dare you? First of all, we talk about we shouldn't be judging others. First of all, that's exactly what you're doing. Number two, you have no evidence of anything that this happens. Why? What makes Zoe Quinn the angel of reason? The queen of morals? After the stuff I have read and stuff I have seen myself, the lies she has herself have done, you have to, and you want to believe her out of all people who have done just as much of a heinous act, a woman who have gone on Twitter instead of going to the cops. I seem to be a new thing now. We don't like somebody or we have a certain way of doing it. We just make allegations, no proof. Doesn't matter. They're going to believe it anyway. The cancel culture is getting out of hand. And before anybody said, but Pope, didn't you want that said that Pope Jared does? If you read my blog, I said if he have committed these crimes, big word about it, if, then the proper authority needs to get involved. Period. I can care less about their personal life. They're none of my business. But when it comes to people's safety, it's everybody's business. And the proper authority needs to be done. Not just go out there and say, he's guilty, you need to shut him down, you need to fire him. No, I never said that. Personally, I don't think anybody should be fired over something that happened a few years ago. And in my own opinion, if this was true and he was convicted and he was released, are you telling me he doesn't have a right to make a living? You're telling me he doesn't have a right to actually, even if let's just throw out the equation. Whatever past they have to actually happen, it's supposed to be in the past. James Gunn was fired over a tweet that happened a few years ago. I don't condone it. I think it's disgusting. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He should be ashamed of himself. But I never thought he should have been fired either. Hell, I didn't think Roseanne should have been fired for what she said on a tweet either. It was disgusting. It was shocking. She shouldn't have no business being on tweet to begin with if that was the case, if she had an opioid situation. But I didn't think she should have been fired. And Roseanne has been around for business for years. And I think she's done things worse than what she has done now. And nobody ever bothered her. Why all of a sudden now? And don't tell me about, it's a different age, Pope. You got to understand, no. There's more than that. What happened to this person is more than that. The moment we hear something negative to people we think they should be perfect in our eyes, even though we ourselves are not perfect, we immediately want to punish them in the brutalest way possible. We want to erase them from existence. We want to just basically throw them under the rug and not think about the consequences of those kind of actions. James Gunn, you want to say Roseanne deserved to be fired? Alright, but what about James Gunn? His stuff was done years ago. Why should he be punished? It was something he said years ago. It wasn't because we was concerned about the children and everything else. It was a simple fact is that they wanted to get even with what Disney is and everything else that Disney stands for and everything else that Disney is supposedly have a model for. And James Gunn is part of Disney at the time, and they wanted to punish him. They wanted to go after Disney, say, hey, Disney, you talking about all this stuff. Well, look at this person's tweet from 5 years ago. And Disney panicked. And that's a knee-jerk reaction. Disney fired him. Only problem is, James Gunn had enough fan base that basically gone, including the cast of some of the cast of the Guardians. And when it was told that he was going to go to DC, that's when they started saying, oh, we can't have that. Hire him back. Again, I ain't condoning what he said. Again, it was a shameful thing he did. And I'm pretty sure he was embarrassed. But again, that was years ago. You think people don't change? You think people are the same people that they were 10 years? If that's the case, man, oh man. But again, it goes beyond that. It goes to the fact is that a lot of people are so much into a witch hunt lately that it doesn't really matter if the allegation are true or not. They respond to first sight of what one person may said without asking that person the one major thing. When did this took place? Do you have any evidence to back up what your claim is? Have you spoken to the police? You think Zoe Quinn did that? You think ZQ have actually went to the police and explained what she have said and turned to Twitter? My answer is no. So why the hell am I gonna believe somebody who especially has a shoddy record to begin with? Brings me to my next problem that I have with CancelCulture. The fan base has become very toxic. I never had and never will be a fanboy of anything. Not a property, not a person, not a musician, anyone. Because most of the time, it leads to a mob-like affair. When somebody criticizes their favorite movie star, all of a sudden they want to gang up on that person and thinking they're doing them a favor. No, you're not. Anything you're doing a disservice. When a person, if their favorite idols or stars say something, whether true or not, these fans immediately rush into it and come to the aid of this star, basically blasting and bashing the person they're accusing of, without actually thinking, is this person really telling the truth? Is this person really being up and honest? I'm not saying being a fan is bad in terms of if you like something. I'm a James Bond fan. I like the movies. I watch the movies. But when it comes obsession, when I gotta stick up for every James Bond character, I'm right about, oh, this person know what he's talking about. He should get shot. He should not have a YouTube channel. That's pushing it too far. That's not healthy. Like I said before, and I said again, these stars don't know me. Okay? They don't know me. And I don't know them. I only see what I see in terms of their performance. I appreciate what they have done in terms of their acting, their singing, what a YouTuber does on camera. But off the camera, I don't know who that person is. I don't know what their lifestyle is. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I don't want to know what goes on behind closed doors. It's none of my damn business. But to act like these guys are gods among men or women is not healthy. And the fandom needs to understand that. What's happened here? Yes, I do believe that Zoe Quinn is responsible, but it's our fans, and they're still being idiots about it. Now, like I said, I don't know if this person with the allegation that Zoe Quinn said is true or not. I don't know. We may never know. But I do find it kind of suspicious that all of a sudden she had deleted everything she said on the channel. I really do. You have to question it now. Is this stuff really happen? If so, why is she deleting it? Why she's kept quiet all of a sudden? Why is there other reports that she's trying to hide her money all of a sudden? Do you understand where I'm coming from with this, guys? I'm saying this not just to those on YouTube. YouTube's going to say whatever they say anyhow. And by the way, I can care less if our fans come here. Like I said, I don't erase comments. At the same time, if you guys are going to engage, oh, delete this, delete that, and all this stuff, and you report, good luck. I'm going to say what needs to be said, and it may not please you, but so what? Because some of you guys are acting like a bunch of fools on Twitter. And this is why a lot of stars say that Twitter is nothing more than a cesspool of negativity these days. This is one of the reasons why. And those who are disrespecting this man after death, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Man is gone. There's a family that's actually grieving. His sister was actually even forced out of Twitter for some nonsense. This was somebody's son and father. A mother is crying right now. You need to understand that. I think some of you guys forgetting that there are family members also in pain too. Not just what Zoe Quinn said, but actual family members. Do you not understand that part? Or are you too busy with your own blinded loyalty and hatred towards something you may not know is true, that you're willing to say anything and disrespect this man even further. Have the fan community, even the gaming community, which, by the way, kind of find it funny that they immediately fired this guy without actually asking the same question I asked. Do you have any allegations? Do you have any proof? And did you actually went to police with these allegations? Now, as far as any legal precautions going to come, I've seen the comments from a lot of videos. I've seen what some of the people have said in the actual mass media, because it's a big deal. I don't know if there's going to be a lawsuit or not. A lot of people said she should be held accountable. She should be charged with murder. I don't think that's going to be possible because, number one, like I said before, while she made the allegations, there is no ground for that in terms of a murder charge. What is grounds is slandering the man's name. That can happen. We have seen there's been cases that have been happened before, even cases where the person may or may not even been innocent. But the witch hunt has definitely led to the death of an individual, and the person did sue. There was, I believe, the latest one was NBC. The one that catches the predator. One of the reasons why you don't see that no more, because Chris Henson trapped off a lawyer. Lawyer was aware of what's going on, and again, for all I know, Chris Henson was right. He could have been doing something illegal, and that justice, the cops needed to be called into it. But it was done on entertainment. It was done on television. Instead of actually letting the cops do their job, they decided to make a entertainment on it. High ratings. Hey, we're justified. We're doing a good thing. Guy was cornered. Said, I'm not gonna hurt nobody. Put a gun in his head. He shot himself. Family went berserk. Sued the studios. It was pretty much almost a year and a half. Ended up being settled. I haven't seen that show since. You're not going to see that show since. Because even the people said, yo, you're pushing this too far. We don't need this in our neighborhood. Like I said, there's an incident going on right now, a court case, where the same people who said they got all these evidence, we got plenty of evidence, we'll show it at a later date. When anybody says that, when they have to say they're showing at a later date, they don't have nothing. Plain and simple. Why are you going to wait? You say all these allegations. You stir everybody up. Why are you waiting? Show it. Now all of a sudden they go to court. Now all of a sudden they don't want to show the evidence. You don't want to show the evidence to the judge, and you're delaying. Right there, they don't have anything. And the only reason why they're delaying is they're hoping that they can actually stretch it out this long enough so the guy will run out of money to pay for these lawsuits to have this case dismissed. That's the only reason why they're doing it. It's not an old strategy. We had a situation with some guy. I don't follow him, so I don't know his name upright. I'm being straight up with you guys. Where he was being accused by a lot of people. And even some said they had evidence, and they'll get back to it. It took them to actually go on YouTube, said he had receipts, show the receipts. All of a sudden, all the people who were accusing him of this and having all this evidence, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, we made a mistake. We just want to move on. Yeah, you want to move on because you realize you got caught. And then he has ground to sue you for slandering his name all over the place. Do you not understand how this cancel culture is getting to the point where now we have this situation here? I'm not saying that there's some of these allegations that comes up are true. I'm not saying that the person is lying. What I'm saying is you have to be careful and mindful, especially when it comes to a person who already has a shoddy record. Fan or no fan, you have to ask the question. If this is true, Zoe, why didn't you go to the cops? What did the cops say? Let them answer that question. If they say they went to the cops, you have to ask why. They can't say that they're afraid about this and this and that, because if you're going on YouTube with this information and you're very adamant and very high vocal about it, then there should be no reason you could be very vocal on talking to the authorities. It's also one of the reasons why I'm not very happy with your channel Awesome more than anything else. After I found out about the Juwario situation and how this was kept under wraps for years, and how no one thought the police shouldn't have been involved in this because of X, Y, Z. I don't want to hear that excuse. So one thing that my counselor and everybody else said, that if you don't say anything, the person's going to keep on doing it. They're just going to keep on doing it. They will stop when they get caught and when the cops are involved. I'm tired when organizations feel the need to protect their own image than actually bringing the authorities. I don't think I would be upset if the authorities involved. Twitter does it. YouTube does it. When a situation like this, when a situation where they know criminal activity is happening on their platform, they're not going to sit there and Twitter thumb. They're going to call the authorities. You're going to say, hey, this is what's going on. Here's the person's IP address. You take a look at it. You think they won't? You'd be surprised how quick they find people. Especially in YouTube, when people draw inappropriate criminal stuff on their YouTube account. How fast they get into it? When Daddy05 got in a situation where you're saying it was all the haters and the fans got involved and got involved, you don't think that YouTube didn't play a role in that as well? Oh, they did. Oh, they did. Like I said before, when it comes to this situation, I'm not saying things like this don't happen. I don't know how long it might happen, but if it did, then it should have been taken care of by the proper authorities. Twitter is not the proper authorities. And my personal feeling, I think Zoe was just looking for a witch hunt. And she knew she was going to get it because she has a fan that will follow her blindly, just like a lot of other fans who follow their favorite stars and not question her motives. And people need to start questioning people's motives when it comes to this. Sorry, they have to. They have to. Because this kind of stuff can happen again. That man died because of that witch hunt. That man died because the people, hounding him on Twitter, resulting into him losing his job. Something that he loves. Something that he loves doing. And from the reports I have, this was his breaking point. And to me, that's sad. It really is. Especially when these same clowns are going on online saying the stuff that they're saying without anything backing it up. Now, my question is this. To all these so-called fans who want to stick up for Zoe Quinn. What happens if it actually turned out that Zoe Quinn did lie? What if all this was just a ruse to get back at a developer? What are you going to say then? Are you going to make excuses for her? Are you going to delete your Twitter? Are you going to apologize for the dumb shit you said on Twitter? Excuse my language, but I got to call it like it is. Or are you going to be a coward and just not say anything at all and pretend it didn't happen? Now, as far as what Zoe is concerned, legal action concerned, if the family choose to go after her in terms of a lawsuit, slander and defamation charges, in terms of that, if they choose to do that route, I think they have a strong case to do so. I don't know if they want to go that route. I just think they just want right now at this time they want to warn their loved ones I hope that at least Twitter will give them the opportunity to do that instead of doing what they were doing right now. I'm hoping that they will get that time to, to mourn and basically remember the band that they know, not what Twitter thinks they know, but what they know. I think they're more important than that. But it don't look good for her. All right, and to me, this has got to stop. This has got to stop, and I think the industry itself needs to wake up. Because the industry, to me, and it seems to be a problem with this industry. The industry wants to please a small group of people. I'm not saying the industry needs to be cautious in terms of equal rights, in terms of how women be treated in video games. I think they've done a good job. And one thing I will say about the industry, I think they've done a much better job of doing that than ever before. And I think that there are some women heroes, even before during the 90s. I was a big Lara Croft fan. I love those games. And I think they've done a much better job of portraying female characters in their games. All right. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's nothing wrong with being cautious about that. I want the gaming industry to improve alongside, but I also thought it should be done gradually, naturally, not to please a group of people whose agenda is shoddy to begin with, who are only looking for a payday. Because a lot of these SJWs, not all of them, but a good portion of the SJWs are hypocrites. They really are. Okay, I've got to keep it real. The same thing goes with some of the anti-social justice warriors. There's some of them out there who you got to question their motives. That's the reason why they're attacking those who are looking for equal rights for women. But there's a whole lot of them that's also in the social justice warriors who just basically don't really care about the cause, but care about the money behind the cause. Who are just looking to stir trouble where there's trouble not to be found. Who think they're representing a group of people where they didn't even ask for their voice or opinion. Yet they're trying to make rules to change their lifestyle for reasons that doesn't even make sense. And I think Hollywood, I think the gaming industry, I think the entertainment industry, period, need to sit back, take a time out, take a breather, and ask themselves, okay, we hear one side, we hear another side, but what are we doing inside of ourselves? We shouldn't be just basically throwing out change like that and expect everybody to have it like, oh, actually, no. It should be done gradually, it should be done naturally, and it should be done where it's not blatant obvious that you're trying to preach me something. I'm looking at you, Ghostbusters. I'm looking at you, Last Jedi. I'm even looking at some of the stuff in Marvel. I'm being honest. I don't need preaching here. I don't need politics. I need entertainment. That's all. And if you have a female character that's strong and good, I don't mind that. I want that. Keep in mind, I was actually happy for once that Black Widow's getting a movie. She should have gotten a movie a long time ago. A long time ago. I was mad that she didn't get it. I was even more upset of the dumbass excuses they was giving to keep her from not getting a movie. I really was. But it has to be done respectfully, nationally. It cannot be done to fill a quota. It cannot be done to please a certain group of people. Because what's going to end up happening is what we're seeing right now with some of these franchises, that people are going to get turned off. And you're going to have a hard time filling the seats. And you're going to have a hard time going to the theme parks or whatever you want to do here. Don't want to mark your fan base. With that being said, I'm loving to hear your comments on this midweek edition of the Entertainment Roundup. Like I said, there was no Entertainment Roundup a couple of days ago due to the fact that it was Labor Day. I hope you guys enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. I'll be back on my regular normal schedule. I'm also going to be doing a movie review. A little late to the party, but because of some of the stuff that was happening with the MCU, I figured that I'd do a movie review of this and actually put my 2 cents of whether Spider-Man belongs in the Venom world and how they can blend them in together. If that's their actual plan, we still don't know. So look for that. No gaming, no video game music review. I'm sorry, no comic book 360 review this week. It will be back next week. We'll have another gaming, video game music review coming up. So I will definitely give you guys on that. But uh, Entertainment Roundup will also have a Sunday edition. It's going to be called the Weekend Wrap Up. It's where I actually talk about pretty much the old school style of what I used to do when I pick up selective stories and talk about it within the entertainment world. So look for those to come all throughout this week. But until next time, this is J777. Take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.